Lady Juniper, and today we'll be looking at Nilou, her mechanics, and the future of characters in Genshin Impact. There's a lot to cover. Um, a lot of people have already done much better videos than this will be on what Nilou does. I completely recommend you go watch them to find out whether or not you actually want to pull her, because she's a very interesting character. And whether or not you want to pull her, you can pull her on whether you like her design. She's a very lovely looking character. She's pretty neat, but she is very niche. Nilou does one thing and she does that one thing very well. But that doesn't mean you cannot use her for other gameplay things. It just means she won't be as good at them. I think it was I Play to Win Gaming did a really good video on how she can do really big damage with her burst in, like, I think it was a vape team. So she can do other things than blooms. So just a simple explanation to begin with. I don't have Nilou. I'm not pulling for Nilou, and I will go over why I'm not pulling for Nilou in a minute. But I'm just going to cover what she does. So let's just summon in some people, and basically her whole kit is really based around her skill. Like, she has a really impressive burst, but her kit is not about her burst. So you press her skill, and then if you tap the attack button, it will put her into her infusion mode, which does this very lovely kind of AoE attack, I guess you could call it. And that attack will not cause the special blooms that she does. Her special blooms are activated when you press her skill, you press the skill again, and then you activate Dendro, and then yeah, you can't really see them because they're exploding so fast. Let's see if we can do it again. It lasts for like 30 seconds, so I'm not sure of it. Yeah, there you go. Collei is not the best at doing this, unfortunately. Dendro Traveller would be much better at this. But yes, her main thing is her skill. It is not really her burst. Her burst isn't her selling point. Now, one thing to note about her skill is you can activate it. You can attack twice, and as long as the third one is the skill, it will do the haze. So you can do it skill, attack, skill again if for some reason pressing the skill repeatedly was too difficult. I don't know. Like, it's not that complicated. Her entire kit is kind of built around it. I'm just gonna exit out. Oh no, wait. I guess we're going again. But yeah, let's have a look. So Nilou's a interesting character. She's a very niche character, and lots of people are kind of angry about how niche she is. Like, she's specifically designed around bloom teams. Her talents are designed around making these super blooms, or whatever they're called. It's what she does. And she doesn't do these blooms if you do her alongside any other character but Hydro and Dendro, which means there's very few characters you can actually play her with, because there's only 3 Dendro characters, and one of those she isn't very good with, which is Tanari. And while there is a whole pool of Hydro characters, you may have noticed, but a lot of these Hydro characters, that she could be paired with are 5 stars. And not all of these she would be good to be paired with. So to be a Nilou player who wants to play Nilou in a team of, say, you don't want to use Collei, you can only use Dendro Traveller to get her blooms, you have mostly a 5 stars to pick from. There's only 3 4 stars. Barbara, bless her, there's nothing she can do that Nilou can't already do besides healing, because she has her skill is exactly the same, really. Um, I mean, yes, she does healing. Xingqiu, obviously great. Good to run alongside her, I guess, if you have him. And Candice, might be good, I guess, but Nilou already has her own water infusion. So I guess you could run Candice, infuse Nilou so she can pop her aura and just go to town with Dendro. I guess that would be a thing. But what are you to really do, honestly? There's not a whole load of choice. And the best person to run with her is Kokomi, not Barbara, who's a 5-star character. Um, you can't, not to say you can't run her with other characters, but like there's not a lot of options for her at this stage in the game, especially if you're not pulling on every banner like a lot of free-to-play people, or a lot of, like, I guess you call them goldfish players who put in a little bit of money but not a lot of money into the game. You're you're not going to be able to afford every character. And when it comes to considering a character like Nilou, it's like, do I spend money on this character who I'm not even sure I want because she's very niche. I mean, she looks lovely, and from what I have seen from other people playtesting her and exploring her kit, she does do really good damage. Nilou's main problem is there's not a lot of people to team with her inside of her niche, because you've got three Dendro characters. Tanari does not work with her because Tanari is built around electro reactions of he's built Tanari's built around electro reactions. He doesn't bloom very well, which means he's not going to be very good with Nilou, unfortunately. Um, and Dendro, main character, is really good, but she doesn't really apply Dendro fast enough. I mean, I don't think it really matters if you have Dendro, MC, and Collei. Like, it does it enough, but they're very restricted of area. What you really need is you need a Dendro Xingqiu, or someone like Barbara who just applies Dendro casually to everyone walking around the field. And we just don't have that yet. Now, people assume that Nilou's problem is going to be fixed by the Dendro Archon because she's a catalyst user, um, and thus would be able to play Dendro quite fast once you've done the haze. But no one's done any testing on this. Nobody knows. Nobody will know until Nadia is out whether or not um, she will do it fast enough to boost Nilou, and then you still are relying on a 5-star character to make Nilou good. So he has problems, and it's not her fault. Like, one day, new Nilou will have a whole roster of characters, but unfortunately, they've decided to release her at the beginning of Samaru's release, and not towards the end where Al Haythime's being released, where we would have the Dendro Archon already released. I think, is it Bezo? Um, the Dendro user from Leeway is potentially going to come out sometime this patch cycle. We don't know for sure. Nothing's 100%, obviously, but he's an obvious Dendro character that could come out. They might do more Dendro 4-stars to fatten up the roster, but until there are more Dendro characters, Nilou's potential is sort of locked behind whether or not you have Kokomi, or whether or not your Dendro main character is leveled up and you've invested in them, because there is no really good Dendro characters to do. And the only one that's potentially going to be good is in the banner right after her. I'm not sure why they put her right after Sino, because it's really quite odd. Because usually it's what, like, new character, and then you have a banner where it's two old characters. Where this time they've decided to do Sino followed by Nilou, followed by Nadia, and that's a lot of new characters that everybody wants. And it's not particularly fair on Nilou because they could have released her after Nadia. I don't know what new characters is meant to be coming in the patch after Nadia, but they could have done it, and Nilou would have been a much more appealing character to invest in because you would have, if you're really into Dendro and Dendro reactions, you would have picked up the Dendro Archon. So it's it's difficult. Um, and it kind of rolls on to what I think is the potential future of Dendro and the characters in the game. Like, why is Nilou the way she is, this really niche character? But I think if you look at Sino as well, we could probably predict what the other characters that are going to be coming out in the future might look like. Because, like, Dory's also quite weird, isn't she? I don't have Dory to demonstrate, but Cyno kind of scales off EM, like his weapons geared around EM. Nilou's weapon has a thing about the elemental mastery. She gives EM to other characters. Like Dendro's a reactive element like Anemo, which is why I think they chose for it to not react with Anemo, even though people argue that it should because nature. But Dendro and Anemo are pretty much the same, honestly. They kind of work the same. They're very reactive, obviously, and that's why they don't react with each other. But Anemo can drive Dendro reactions, um, and I think because of that, because Dendro's so new, what Hoyoverse wants to do is bring in a bunch of characters that work really well with it. Because while the cast that we have are really great, they weren't really built with Dendro in mind because Dendro didn't exist. And while they might have had a plan for Dendro, I think the reason it was pushed back so late is because they weren't entirely sure what to do with it and they wanted to get it just right. So you have a bunch of old cast of characters where they're not, I guess the developers aren't 100% sure whether or not the current characters work with Dendro. And so they've made a character like Nilou, who's very niche, but I imagine in their heads is incredibly good at Bloom. Because if you think about it, Bloom and Burning are probably like methods of applying Dendro that people don't really think about doing because, like, if you're doing blooms, you're doing hyper blooms. You might as well include an electro character in that to do hyper blooms. Why not use artificial and just do more damage? Um, it's simple. Or you could do Burgeon and do even more damage. I haven't experimented much with Burgeon just because it's difficult, I know, to do it when you risk blowing up Traveler's core. Which is why we need a Dendro character that specializes in Burgeon. Like I think people are aware that Dea might be like a Burgeon character, and she probably will be. She will probably be an EM scaling Pyro character with who gives off damage in a way that supports Burgeon teams. I don't think she's going to be built around burning because I'm sure the developers must know that burning's not very good. It's like a nice to have, but we don't really want to apply it kind of Dendro reaction. Um, but yeah, I think we're going to see this entire patch characters that are built specifically with Danger in mind, which means I think we're going to see a lot of EM scaling characters, characters that have funny gimmicks like Nilou, who are built around specific reactions. Like Sino is built around Aggravate, Nilou's built around Blooms. I've already forgotten Flamehead's name again. He will probably be built around Burgeon. It doesn't mean you can't use them in other teams. Like Nilou does lose the use of these two talents if she is in a team with other people, but she still does, bloom really good. Um, Like Bloom is still a good reaction, and if you add a electro character, you can do aggro electro Bloom. So she's still good, I think, and I think when we have more characters, she'll be more good. But the reason I'm not pulling her is I like Blooms, and honestly, if I had won my 50-50 with Venti, I would have pulled on her banner to see if I got her too. Because I do like the Bloom reaction, but I want to save my guaranteed for Nadia. And Nilou's nice, but she is not waste my guaranteed level of nice, you know? Um, I think whether or not you really like her is how much you love Dendro. Um, there are characters that do Hydro better than her. There's going to be a lot of play testing over the next few weeks by the theory crafters to find where she might be good elsewhere. But she is meant to be really good in what she does. So it's not like you're wasting your wishes if you choose to wish on her. Like if you're wishing on her, obviously you want her. I know a lot of people are worried about the meta, but Higherverse is making Dendro part of the meta. Nilou is their attempt of making a meta character that fits within the Dendro niche. She will probably very likely one day be very meta in what she does. Because she's specifically designed around it. She's specifically designed with Dendro in mind. And that's why you shouldn't feel bad if you picked her up and people are like, oh, she's terrible. No, she's quite good. I've seen her numbers. She's quite good. You can build her burst mode or infusion mode. Both modes are really good. She clears Spiral Abyss really well. Um, like safe for Hu Tao if if you're worried that much about meta. Um, but yeah, really, like wish for whoever you want at the end of the day. Um, I just think Nilou has been treated really rotten by being released too early. That's really her only problem. They've released her like 6 months too early. They needed to release her after at least Al Haytham was out, or the Dendro Archon. Not not now. Not now when we have only three Dendro characters and Tanari doesn't work with her. I feel bad for Nilou. But one day this girl will be great at what she does, and people will stop hating on her. But I think we won't see that until after Nadia is out at least. I'm pretty sure Nadia is going to be amazing because she's an Archon and all the Archons are amazing. Because remember, uh, the Archons will always be the best at what they do. And if you are really into Dendro, you should get them. If you really like Nilou and you want her and you have enough wishes for Nilou and Nadia, I'd say get her because she'll work really great with Nadia. Nadia's a catalyst user. She probably will do Dendro fast enough to make what Nilou does work. But at the moment, um, yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Um, if you're still a bit unsure, you can just get it up with the rerun. I'm betting, I'm betting that she's going to be rerun with Al Haytham when he comes out because I feel like that makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's rumored to be coming around July, May earliest. So that's a lot of time for them to release potential new four-star characters. I want him to come out now. It's not fair. Um, but yeah, let me know what you think about Nilou, what you think about the future of Dendro, and what they're doing with the characters. People think they're nerfing the characters. I don't think they are. I think they're just trying to find different niches. Like, they don't want to encourage everybody just building the same thing. Because at the end of the day, like, what's his name? Zaref? Zaref? I'm probably butchering his YouTube name. Um, I think he's right when he says that calling characters DPSs aren't correct. Like Nilou, if you see how much damage her cores do on a fully built Nilou, which I have seen on other channels, you could call her a DPS because her cores do a lot of damage. She's a support character, but she does do the damage. Yeah, it's just, I guess it depends whether or not that's fun for you because. But anyway, yes, leave me a comment down below what you think the future of the Genshin characters are going to be. Whether or not you like Nilou and the way she's built. I can understand why people think she's complicated, but she's not. Either skill slash 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 or skill for the super blooms. It's pretty simple. And you build HP on her, so like she's super easy. But yeah, that's our beautiful Nilou. We'll be back soon with more content. Leave me a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It lets me know that you enjoyed it. It means that I might make more videos like this for characters I don't pull. Let me know if you would like me to do more, what does an average character look, an average 5-star look like? I did Sino. I could do Zhao. I could do Klee. Kazuha um, is a mess. I don't think it would be very fair to do an average video on him because he's not even on the right set. Yeah. Um, let me know that what kind of content you would like to see, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.